It started with footsteps. Not hurried, not loud, just slow, tired ones. The kind of footsteps that carry more than weight, they carry worry. I heard them around 2 a.m., soft and shuffling down the hallway. Then again at 3:30. Grandpa couldn't sleep. The next morning, he sat quietly by the window, eyes heavy. "I don't know why I can't sleep," he said. "My body's tired, but my mind, it won't stop walking." That sentence stayed with me. It wasn't just insomnia, it was unrest. And maybe, just maybe, it wasn't only about sleep. Maybe it was about what we were giving his body before asking it to rest. That evening, I didn't try to impress. I didn't pull out cookbooks or chase complicated recipes. I just followed a memory. A warm pumpkin soup, blended smooth with a touch of fresh ginger. No cream, no salt. Just pumpkin, ginger, and a bit of olive oil to hold it all together. When I placed the bowl in front of Grandpa, he held it close, inhaled gently. Then he smiled, soft, surprised. "Smells like something Grandma used to make," he said. His voice was quiet, almost fragile. He didn't rush. He ate slowly, one spoonful at a time, and with each bite, something in him let go. His shoulders loosened. His breathing slowed. That night he slept. Not just lay still, but truly, deeply rested. And in the morning, he didn't mention the soup. He just said, "I slept. It's been a while." And I knew that small bowl had done something big. The next night, I wanted to give his body something soft, something that felt like quiet. So I took what we had, carrots, zucchini, and a handful of spinach leaves. I simmered them slowly in a low-sodium broth, letting the kitchen fill with warmth. Then I added rolled oats, not much, just enough to turn it from broth to comfort. The soup became thick, almost like porridge, gentle and earthy. When I brought it out, Grandpa looked at the bowl and laughed. "Oats for dinner." His smile reached his eyes, but after the second spoonful he paused, then nodded. "It feels like something that helps you breathe better," he said. He finished the bowl in silence. And that night, he didn't wake up once. I still remember the smell. When I was little and Grandpa couldn't sleep, Mom would quietly go into the kitchen, even after a long day, and make this soup. Red beans, lotus seeds, a bit of rock sugar and sea salt. She never measured, she just knew. The whole house would fill with this warm, earthy scent. Not too sweet, not too strong, just enough to make the night feel softer. So one evening I brought it back. Same ingredients, same slow simmer. And when I served it to Grandpa, he didn't speak right away. He just held the bowl for a moment like it carried something he hadn't felt in years. He took a spoonful, closed his eyes, then whispered, "Tastes like home." That night he didn't just sleep, he dreamed. And when the sun came up, he looked different, lighter, calmer. He touched my shoulder and said, "I think my dreams took me somewhere I'd forgotten." And in that moment I realized, some soups don't just feed the body, they feed the soul. The more nights I spent near Grandpa, the clearer it became. It wasn't just age, it wasn't just the passing of time, it was dinner. Heavy meals, white rice, salty pork, fried food. They sat in his stomach like stones. His body would lie down, but his mind stayed alert, churning through the night like something unfinished. But when we switched to warm, light soups, things shifted, his breath deepened, his hands stopped fidgeting, and sleep, the kind that heals, returned. There's a reason for it, science backs it up. As we grow older, our digestion slows down. Late, heavy dinners confuse the body. Do I rest, or do I work to digest? But a bowl of warm soup, it sends a clearer message. It says, "It's okay now, you've done enough, you can rest." And in Grandpa's case, that message was received. Night after night, his sleep became quieter, and somehow so did mine. After weeks of trial and error, some soups too salty, others too heavy, I learned something. Making soup for Grandpa at night wasn't just about flavor or nutrition. It was about creating calm. It was about helping his body feel safe enough to rest. And I found 3 simple but quietly powerful rules. 1. Keep it soft and easy to digest. No spicy toppings. No crunchy croutons, just smooth, warm comfort that asks nothing of his stomach. 2 choose ingredients that speak to the body at night: oats for steadiness, pumpkin for warmth, lotus seeds, spinach, ginger, foods that carry softness in their nature. 3 serve it warm, never piping hot. Heat soothes, but too much heat irritates. A gentle bowl that says, "You've done enough today. You can let go now." Once I followed these, dinner became more than a meal. It became preparation for peace. A quiet invitation to sleep, not forced, not rushed, but offered like a hand reaching into the dark saying, "I'm here." Before I found what worked, I made mistakes, not out of neglect, but out of not knowing. And maybe you're making them too, serving dinner too late. Sometimes 8 p.m., even 9. I thought he wasn't hungry earlier. But those late meals sat heavy in his stomach. They kept his body working when it was begging to rest. Using processed or salty ingredients, canned broth, frozen dumplings, too much soy sauce. I didn't think much of it until Grandpa started waking up at 1 a.m. thirsty, restless, disoriented. Adding too much fat, creamy soups, buttered toppings, a swirl of oil to make it tasty. But for him, it made everything feel dense, bloated, unsettling. Once I changed these things, the night softened. And honestly, so did I, because when he slept peacefully, I finally did too. Over time, dinner changed. It stopped being a task. It became a quiet ritual. A bowl of soup wasn't just food, it was a message. Not loud, not grand, but steady. Each time I placed a warm bowl in front of Grandpa, I wasn't just feeding him, I was telling him, "I'm still here, I still see you, and I still care." He didn't need to say much. He rarely did. But there was something in the way he lingered over the last spoon. How he held the bowl for an extra moment before letting go. How he'd look at me, not long, not intensely. Just enough to say everything without a word. Food became our language, simple, wordless, but full of meaning. And in a world that so often forgets the quiet ones, those bowls of soup became our way of saying, "You matter, you are loved still." If you're the one standing by the stove at 7 p.m., checking if the lotus seeds are soft enough, tasting the broth one more time just to be sure, or quietly asking, "Would you like a little something tonight, Grandpa?" This part is for you. I see you, in the small kitchen light, in the silence between spoon and bowl. I know some nights feel endless, some feel invisible, but please don't forget, what you're doing matters deeply, quietly, completely. You're not just serving dinner, you're offering calm, you're offering safety, you're offering love. In a form the world doesn't always recognize, but the heart always feels. Thank you for your care, for your quiet hands, for staying when it's easier not to. You don't have to fix everything in one night. You don't need to be a doctor, a nutritionist, or even a perfect cook. You just need to begin with one small bowl, one quiet act, one warm soup that says without words, "I'm here, I still care." Maybe that's all someone needs to rest a little easier. A soft dinner, a slow voice, a calm moment before sleep. If this video reminded you of someone you love, a grandparent, a parent, or your future self, share it. Try one of these soups. Sit down, eat together, be present. Because love doesn't always show up in grand gestures. Sometimes it looks like a spoonful of broth offered gently. Sometimes it feels like a silent hand on your back. Sometimes it's just knowing that while the world rushes past, someone stayed behind for you.